I know you've heard about it on the news, and that dirty word is inflation. Here are the top 7 answers to some of the questions that we get on inflation. Watch this. What's up, everybody? Justin coming to you live from Anchorage, Alaska, and we're going to talk about that dirty word, inflation. And of course, some of the top questions that we get as a real estate group on really what the heck is going on and what does inflation mean for you as a buyer or a seller or someone who's looking to potentially invest in real estate. So number 1, where are mortgage rates going to go? That's a great question. And the honest answer is no one really knows. So, we have got economists that kind of try to predict where the economy is going. Obviously, the Federal Reserve is trying to combat, record high inflation, some of the highest inflation rates we've seen in 40 years by obviously increasing the rate at which people pay to borrow money. If that's bank to bank, bank to consumer, etc. And so that's obviously impacting the demand for real estate. So where are rates going? Well, economists right now are basically saying that rates should go back to our historical average, which is around 4.5% to 5.5%, maybe the end of Q1, some point in Q2 of 2023. Now, with the CPI report, so the Consumer Price Index report that we got at the very end of October, which had a 0.5% reduction in inflation between September to October. So we'll have to see what the end of November brings, but it showed an improvement in the percentage of inflation. Obviously, people are still seeing that in the cost of goods, but the bond market, which directly helps impact mortgage rates, obviously had, what happened, we actually had a great reduction in mortgage interest rates in the last few weeks. So they're hovering, instead of in the high 7s, they're now hovering in the mid 6s to low 6s. So therefore, we're seeing that now, and people are coming back into the market, realizing that, they're not as nervous as they were before. Number 2 is, how does inflation and interest rates really affect home prices? And that's a great question because people really want to know, especially sellers, of as inflation goes up, as interest rates go up, what happens? Is my home still worth the same value? Are people still going to pay the same, right? Well, what happened was, of course, in the middle of summer, we were hitting an almost record high of 10% inflation. The Federal Reserve had to really make a lot of changes to combat that dirty word inflation, right? Inflation is basically the rate in which the cost of goods goes up, right? So 10% is a pretty significant number. So, what they did was obviously just, like I said before, was just change the interest of, the price in which people can borrow money, which impacts what actually slows demand down. So it includes mortgages. So refinances and the number of loan applications overall across the country is down by 70%. So demand is very low. However, nationally and here locally in Alaska, inventory, so the amount of homes available is still very low. In Anchorage, we have about a 1-month supply of homes. And in the Mat-Su Valley, so Palmer-Wasilla area, we're looking at maybe 2.5 to 3 months of homes available. A normal market is 6 months of homes. So if we were to stop selling homes right now, there would be about 6 months worth of homes available for buyers to continue buying. So 3 months and 1 month is not a whole lot. So what we've seen is, yes, we've seen reductions in some sales prices. New construction builders have decreased some prices of homes to get them sold, especially since, obviously some of these homes are in the, upper ranges because the cost of building has been so high. So, but overall, home prices have kind of stagnated across the United States and locally. And we're seeing that in the stats. And of course, we'll have another market update for you guys coming in the first week of December to kind of give you a picture of kind of where we are as we've come into the winter months. Number 3 is, how does real estate act as a hedge against inflation? So I get this one all the time because, you read about it on the news, you talk to local investors, national investors, real estate agents, realtors, right? Or financial planners, and they talk about using real estate as a hedge against inflation. By that, they mean you get to lock in the most expensive monthly payment that you're going to most likely have and the most expensive purchase that you're going to have into a monthly payment that's set for the next 30 years. So you get to lock in the rate. If the rate gets better, you can always refinance to a lower rate. But that home sales price and that rate is locked in for 30 years, so that budget is set for a home for 30 years. So as home prices go up, yes, you get equity in your home, but you don't have to pay more. And if interest rates go up, you're locked into that interest rate, and your interest rate doesn't increase unless you have potentially adjustable rate mortgage. So obviously we'll have to get into that later. But this does allow you to, like I said, basically have a finite payment for your largest purchase and your largest expense monthly, and traditionally overall for people, the most expensive purchase of their lives. So you get to lock that in. So no matter what rates is doing, inflation is doing, home prices go up and down, whatever, you're locking that in. So that's your hedge against the cost of like basically that inflation rate. Number 4, do home prices drop when mortgage rates rise? And the answer is not always. So we did see some of that, obviously, in 2008, obviously a big housing collapse. But there was a lot of different things associated with that housing collapse beyond just mortgage prices, such as a high foreclosure rate, et cetera, because, due to predatory lending practices on just multiple levels, that they were putting people into homes that they shouldn't be putting into homes, right? Home pricing is really about supply and demand, right? Just like basic economics, supply and demand definitely drives kind of like what happens with pricing. And nationally, we talk about home pricing, but really on a local level, on a hyper local level, is really kind of what impacts that. So here in Alaska, we're just so far removed, right? And we're still very low on the amount of homes available. Like I said earlier, we've got 1 month of homes available in Anchorage, 3 months of homes available in the Wasilla-Palmer area. So, even though demand has dropped, the amount of homes available is still very low and continuing to drop throughout the winter months because it's typically a little bit slower of a time for us when we sell properties because, it's -2 outside, so I wouldn't want to move them either. But people still have needs to buy and sell homes. So, yes, we are seeing some price reductions, but overall, historically, home prices will stagnate as the mortgage rates rise, or we'll see a little bit of a decline. But here right now, we're not seeing much of a decline. So number 5 is, are adjustable rate mortgages better option than a 30-year fixed? That's a great question. Matter of fact, we get this all the time because recently Northrim Bank here in Anchorage, Alaska, and their partner, a sister company, Residential Mortgage, just announced a 7-year adjustable rate mortgage product with a buy down as low as 4.99, obviously for qualified buyers. So that's very enticing. It gives you an incredible rate locked in for 7 years. Obviously, you want to talk to some of the mortgage brokers over there about that. But, during that 7-year period, if interest rates drop, then you have the option to refinance into a 30-year term. And so really, it's having that conversation about, on your financial need, if you're going to be in the home for 7+ years. If you're not, it may be a good option for you. Most people move every 5 to 7 years. And, so having a locked-in mortgage rate at a higher rate for 30+ years may not be the best option for you. So it's having that conversation with a mortgage broker or lender and seeing what the best option is for you financially for your family. So that's what we definitely recommend. Everybody's situation is different. So yeah, I think that's the best option for you. We can definitely recommend some people here locally if you're in the Alaska market or looking to move to Alaska, or in the currently live here and looking to connect with a mortgage professional that's going to do a great job for you. We've got you covered. Number 6 is like, how does inflation in the current housing market affect you as a buyer or a seller? Another great question. You get this quite a bit, right? So my advice to sellers is that, sellers have had really the opportunity to call the shots for the last 2 years or so. They've had multiple offers. They've had above asking buys by 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60 plus $1,000 over. I've even seen $100K plus over asking, right? Well, now that demand has decreased because buyers are now having to pay a lot more of a payment for the exact same home by a lot, sometimes $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 more a month just because the interest rate's gone up so much. Well, that really impacts their purchasing power. And so therefore they can't, so you don't have as large of a pool of buyers in the home categories as they move up. So especially sellers in the higher home price brackets, they're going to see more of an impact of the interest rates than those in our standard market, the first-time home buyer market, where our median house prices are, which is around $430,000 if you're in Anchorage. So sellers, hey man, you gotta really look for an agent who's got a very strategic marketing plan. So don't just let them tell you that they got a cool marketing plan. I've heard of some people who've got great marketing plans and they just stick it on MLS and then I don't see anything else. So make sure they show you what they can do. Make sure they show you how they track what they do, because if they don't know how to track what they do, then realistically, they have no idea what they're doing. And so you need someone to do video, social media marketing, pictures, drone photography. They should be getting in front of the camera. They should be running a YouTube channel. They should be running literally every single social platform to get your home in front of as many people's eyes as possible. If you don't know who can do that for you, contact us. We show you exactly how many impressions we get, everything we get on every single platform we work with. Buyers, it's gotten a little bit more expensive to buy homes, but guess what? Sellers are, a little bit more, you don't have to be competitive anymore. So you can ask for things as closing costs. You can get home repairs done. You can get a lower rate with adjustable rate mortgage, makes things more affordable. So it's still a great time to purchase. You don't have that crazy offers now. Now you're going to be the only one in that situation or putting an offer in, and now that gives you a little bit of an edge. So, and then of course, last one is, what should you consider with the current market and inflations and current inflation? So, many times buying and selling a home or property is due to life-changing events. No matter where interest rates are at in home pricing, and where home pricing sits, life changes still happen, right? People get divorced, there's death, there's, people are having kids, people are outgrowing places, kids are moving out of the house, you need to downsize, right? Health stuff happens. So all these things still happen. What we tell people is the interest rates are going to be the interest rates. Home prices are going to be home prices. You can't control those things, okay? What you can't control is how much home you can afford, what your monthly budget is, and that's what you should be basing your purchase off of, okay? It's like buying a vehicle. We don't get to control the price of vehicles. Sure, demand does impact that a little bit, but realistically, the cost of building, the cost of doing things is more expensive now than it was 20 years ago. So home prices are just going to continue to go up, right? So base your purchase off of the current rates, what you can afford. What you can afford is going to help dictate what you can buy. That's how we get you in a home, and that's what we look for. So anyways, guys, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video about inflation, how it impacts the housing market, how it impacts you as a buyer or a seller. If you got any questions about Alaskan real estate, especially here locally in Anchorage, Eagle River, Chugiak, Girdwood, Wasilla, Palmer, we're more than happy to help. And, we are definitely here to answer whatever questions you have. So make sure to smash that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment down below if there's anything additional that you want to know about inflation. We'll be happy to answer your questions or get you more information. If you want to reach out, contact one of my agents, 907-313-8805, and we will see you guys on the next one.